Welcome back. Residents of Awo Idemili community in Osu local government area of Imo State are asking the government to urgently address what they term total neglect by the authorities. Residents say they are tired of dilapidated roads, lack of potable water and insufficient support for their farming and basket weaving businesses, a situation which has led them resorting to self-help to address their plight. Our community report tonight looks at the challenges of this community and what the government's intentions are.
Etisola, now you're talking.
This is where a community in Nigeria, a country rated as the giant of Africa, access their water supply every day. In addition to this, residents of Awo Idemili in Osu local government area of Imo State go through the daily ordeal of living with poor road network, lack of government support for their farming and basket weaving businesses.
About the second school with them and second school with them that was built by the community. If you go there, you will see that most of the building there has collapsed. So there's no way we can do all of them at the same time. So we're asking government to come to our aid. We have a borehole at Ekubaheze and somewhere in the local government here. So we're asking government to come and assist us, see if we can put all those things back to the normal way it's supposed to be.
Because of bad roads, we can, from Ekubaheze here to very close neighbor village like a Zogu or a Denta, we do collect 200, at times 250, because of bad roads.
We are still appealing to government to come and help us get some of these roads. Some of them are supposed to be tarred, asphalted. What we are doing is grading, but the government can take one or two of the major roads and asphalt it for us.
Tired of waiting for the government they elected to provide the basic infrastructure, the people have decided to do what they can to ameliorate their living standards. So what does the concerned government have to say in its defense?
Government is doing its own efforts to say that they have good infrastructure development within their area, but everything must not be the work of the government. The community can still do something.
That sort of statement most likely seals the fate of this community, because they are now faced with the option to continue using all their hard-earned money to do the work of those they voted in, or fend for their families. So until the authorities wake up to their responsibilities, the residents are on their own.
Etisola, now you're talking.
Elsewhere, dry season farming, otherwise known as irrigation agriculture, is gradually becoming a common sight in Yobe State, northeast Nigeria. Agribusiness is equally springing up across the state in efforts to market the products from these farms. Our next report examines what could be the recent shift from rainfall agriculture to the dry season farming across Yobe State.
Farming in an arid region is often a Herculean task and even more difficult in the dry season. The reason is not far-fetched: the gross shortage of perennial rainfall in a typical arid or desert region. For Yobe State, in Nigeria's northeast region, which is located in an arid region where water for domestic and animal consumption is grossly inadequate, with farmers devising all possible means to give water to their crops. The head of the Yobe State Task Force on Irrigation Farming, Mr. Gombomi Ngoni, speaks on some of the challenges faced by farmers in the state.
These inputs are really provided, and for those that actually for the schemes we are now reactivating now, government has already given the funding to see that all these, the seeds, the fertilizer, the chemicals are all now provided.
Some of the farmers in the state will make use of about 10% of the irrigation potentials, attest that farming over the years has been financially rewarding.
Praise to Almighty Allah. We are now progressing in irrigation farming more than you can ever imagine. The influx of vegetables and other produce from other states have stopped because many of us are coming into the agri-business, and for the past 12 years it has been a rewarding adventure.
This process, however, has stimulated a melting point for the buyers and sellers to interact. What then is the government doing to encourage irrigation farming?
Government has will, the political will, to see that these infrastructures are really developed. Once these infrastructures are put in place, so it's a smooth ride now for the farmers,
We want government to help us with seedlings, insecticides, herbicides, loan schemes, and the most needed one is fertilizers, which is our #1 problem.
With the plans by the present administration to diversify the nation's economy, there's vast and waiting to be tapped agricultural potentials in Yobe State and many other states alike across the country need to be fully exploited to improve the nation's agricultural production and exports.
Well, Art House Contemporary has for years been a front runner in the promotion of arts in Nigeria, and now the company has brought together 4 contemporary artists to showcase their works at an exhibition in Lagos. Art Review tonight looks at the works of the artists and recognizes those supporting them.
After a successful tutelage under the wings of the Art House Foundation, 4 artists display what they've learnt in that training session in this exhibition at the Art House space in Lagos.
The artists have done quite amazing works. They were able to use material because we gave them materials to use. So they were actually funded. And they were funded, they had a stipend, they were funded to stay. And so they were able to forget about problems that they have at home and just create works.
Tina Adeboale, Dikwa Doherty, Olumide Onadikpe and Jelili Atiku are all established contemporary artists. But the chance to learn something new is an opportunity they couldn't let slip through their fingers.
Artist residence, I was there for 3 months. Within the 3 months, I was meant to be incubated, to be able to exploit ideas that I had already gotten before the residence.
In this exhibition, we were opportune to be in the Arts House Foundation residency program, in which we made all the works that we can see here today. And there were a couple of themes that were sort of drew all the works together. Some cultural concepts that are happening in our time, and also a lot of scientific concepts as well.
On a good day, these artists have strong individual personalities, so coming together to exhibit has attracted a large number of people to the Art House as they enjoy the mix.
I like Dikwa Doherty's work, as well as the lady called Tina. It's really interesting how he plays with the political situation in Nigeria and how he's trying to make social and economic change. And I find it very interesting, and I hope that we continue to do stuff like this in Nigeria henceforth.
This rare combination in this group exhibition held the crowd spellbound as they marvel at how far creativity goes, while Art House Contemporary looks forward to brushing up more artists and giving them new ideas that can have a remarkable impact on their work.
Quite interesting. Well, from art, let's take you to a recent ban placed by the Kaduna State Security Council on street begging, hawking and commercial motorcycle operators in the state capital. The ban follows intelligence reports that such activities pose great security risk for residents. However, the beggars and hawkers have refused to leave the streets. They are challenging government to provide an alternative means of survival.
These beggars are a regular feature on the streets of Kaduna, where street begging is growing at an alarming rate. The state capital is a strong attraction for the less privileged persons and hawkers, as they are easily sighted along major roads and shopping centers. While both the government and residents are worried about the menace, those in this business give reasons why they must remain on the street.
Mutane da dama ba su da wata sana'a wadda ta bi wannan ko ba haka bane mu dai muna neman mai girma Nasiru M Rufai ya ƙara dubawa ya ƙara duga matasan jihar Kaduna ya nemo musu sana'an da dasi.
Through this working that we used to feed ourselves, some of us are a student now, some of we have family now. Through this working that we are get promoting and feed ourselves.
Giving reason for the ban, the spokesman for the Kaduna State government, Samuel Arwan, explains that the decision was taken to preserve public order and protect the lives and property of citizens, and not intended to cause hardship for the people.
Security agencies and government have nothing to do with trying to denigrate beggars, hawkers, or achavas. It is basically a security measure to ensure protection of life and property, law and order throughout the state.
The Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, Agiole Abe, says street begging and hawking constitute security risk for all.
These street beggars, most of them are young children, and we do believe there's a kind of modern day slavery. And these children are used, and at the end, the profits go to other persons, and this is against the law. So the government provided a place where we will take these children to, keep them, identify their states of origin, liaise with their state governments to come and pick them up.
As government intensifies efforts toward transforming the state capital into a modern city and create more jobs for the citizens, observers are of the view that the menace of street begging and hawking requires political will and genuine desire to address the underlying challenges.
The Speaker of South Africa's Parliament, Baleka Mbete, has cut short her participation at the International Parliamentary Union in Bangladesh in order to address pressing political developments in the country. Chief among the issues are opposition party requests for a motion of no confidence in President Zuma to be tabled before the Assembly this week. This follows a controversial cabinet reshuffle carried out by President Jacob Zuma.
Given the seriousness inherent in the motions of no confidence, and their implications on the nation, I have therefore decided to cut my working trip to Bangladesh to ensure that these requests are given the appropriate consideration in terms of the Constitution. It must be scheduled and must receive priority. I will therefore, as of today, begin a process of consultation contemplated in the rules in the consideration of the request submitted. I envisage that the consultation should be concluded as soon as possible. Once the consultation process is concluded, my office will duly write to all the parties involved to advise them of the outcome. I must stress that I am alive to the extreme challenges and sense of anxiety our young democracy is going through at this moment. Our people are looking to Parliament to play its part and exercise its constitutional responsibilities.
Speaker of South Africa's Parliament speaking there. Still ahead on the news at 10. World number 6 Roger Federer wins his first Miami Open since 2006. Defeats Rafael Nadal in straight sets. That's in sports. To stay with us.